The thing is, when you as a real estate investor, when you're confused about which property to buy in the market, what do you do? Because now this is coming from, I've seen a lot of people, because there's so many online, especially Nigerians in diaspora, they see a lot online. They don't know a lot about these properties. This that 1 minute this person is talking about this one, the other minute that one is talking about that one, etc., etc. They can tend to be confused. So people tend to be confused as to which one will they buy, what will they do, and all of that and all of that. So yes, if you ever find yourself, a lot of the times I see that people, investors, prospects, they find themselves in this shoe. They're confused as to which one do they buy. And you know where the confusion gets more twisted is when two, three properties you probably like in about the same area are going to be increased. They're going to experience price increase on the same day or the same week. So you see that you get twisted, you get confused, you don't know what to do. What do you do? Will you choose this one? Which one is that one? And they do go on and on with different analysis. And at the end of the day, some people, due to that confusion, they don't even get to buy anyone and they miss out on great days. So yes, I've had some points of what you need to do. First of all, I will say you need to determine why you want that property in the first place. This particular point, I know I have talked about it on a full episode. I can't overemphasize on this. You need to know why you want that property in the first place. Now, sometimes you don't have to know why 110 or 1000%, but at least have an idea of why, until you now then have more information. It further now helps you to strengthen your why. But I feel like a lot of the times you know why you're in the market. So now I have two basic categories, even though there are more than two basic categories, but I'm just going to touch two basic categories why investors invest in a property. Now, whether it is a land or a house, a lot of the time for investors is in two categories, like I said earlier. It's either you're buying for investment or you're buying for a land where you want to live in the nearest future, or where you want to live almost immediately, or a house where you want to buy and move into, or you want to live in there, or a house you want to buy and put it on rent. Now, if you're buying it and putting it on rent, it's of course investment. Now, don't get me wrong, everything comes to investment. Whether you're living in a house is still an investment as far as I'm concerned, but whether you're renting the house out is still an investment. All right, so everything of course come under that umbrella of an investment. However, you need to determine the purpose, because why? When you're buying a land to land bank and say, I'm just going to hold this land, after some couple of years I will dispose it and then get my money back and use it for something else, maybe put it into another investment, or just use it to maintain your lifestyle, or use it as a retirement scheme, whichever one. The parameters you'll be checking in that scenario is different. So, okay, I'm buying this land in the hope that in 2 years' time, I'm going to build my house where I will be living with my family. Is it true that Ibejuleki is far? Epe, is it truly far? Now, when you say it is far, the other question I usually ask is far from where? But now, before I go into the details of far from where, let's even ask of this, or let's look at it from this other angle. I know a lot of people who are based in Lagos State, Nigeria, Abuja, other states that have invested in UK, US, UAE markets. And I'm asking this question: if you live in Lagos, or if Lagos, how many hours drive is Epe to Ibejuleki, Epe to Lekki to Ikeja on the road? If there's no traffic, distance is about 1 hour. Abi, 1 hour, 30 minutes, you're on the mainland. Now, if you're saying that Ibejuleki is far, the question is, so it means that to invest in UK, London, for instance, that you have to take 6 hours straight flight. Is it not far? To sit on a plane 6 hours, to get to London, where you want to go and invest. The same thing, UAE, 7 hours. Depending on the flight you're even taking. If you're not taking a direct flight, maybe you're not taking British Airways, you're not taking Emirates. If you're taking connecting flights, it means that to get to UAE, you do 12, 13 hours. UK as well. You can do, in fact, I can see connecting flights to UK that is almost 15 hours. Direct flights to US is still more than 15 hours sometimes. So when we say these things are far, it's relative. It's from the which point are you looking at it? There are so many businesses that will spring up in Ekpe in 5 years' time. When that place becomes fully habitable, guys, I took a trip round Ibejuleki this past week, and I found out some very quite interesting things. And I'm like, whoa, this place is already blown up and people do not know. Now, don't worry. I have lovely drone shots that you guys will be excited to see. And when you watch these drone shots, when I upload them, I'm sure you guys will be blown away. And then when you come back to this conversation, you can relate. And then you understand where I'm coming from. So please, do not stop yourself from investing because you have this perception that Ibejuleki Ekpe is too far. We cannot overemphasize. Ekpe Ibejuleki is the new Lagos. There's no way you look at it from all angles. It's okay if you still feel, well, it's marketing, gimmicks, well, nothing's gonna happen there, Jerry. So we even go fast. Hey, Shebi, is this our government? Oh God, this our government. They've done a strong thing, that when they now talk, we don't believe them. Now, let me quickly also say this. The new airport that the Lagos State government announced, they've gotten approval from the federal government. You see the clips flying everywhere. The one you guys didn't pay attention to, or most people didn't pay attention to, is that this construction, this airport project, is a PPP. It's called private partnership, meaning that, ladies and gentlemen, it's not solely a Lagos State thing. It's a partnership with private individuals. So that, and now, when you want to do your own thing, you know how it is. You can't drag it. So this is what you should look at. These are facts you should look at and say, hey, definitely, the way they said they are going to be set out to start construction January 2023, they will definitely start. And also, the government themselves, they are very interested in this Ibejuleki Ekpe corridor. If they're not interested, why did they do that road from Eleko, the rehabilitation from Eleko to Ekpe? Didn't you guys see how fast that road was? Or what the roads in Lagos? Do you know how many other roads the government is that they have not done? But they did that one. Now, the interesting one I also find out on my trip, which I'm going to show you guys in these clips when I upload them. Just wait. If you're not subscribed to this channel, you better do that now, because there's quite so many exciting footages I'll be showing you guys that will blow your mind. The 4-lane that started in Ibejuleki, they started at the point, I think at the point they stopped. They are working on it right now, and guess what? It's not the usual bitumen. It's still another concrete construction. I saw it live. So what is happening there? That Ibejuleki is not going to be the third largest commercial hub, or that is just a thing of the future. It's not so far away. That's what I'm here to tell you. The future of Ibejuleki and Ekpe being the third largest commercial hub is already happening. So the question is, are you getting yourself abreast with what is happening? Are you positioning yourself right as an investor? As somebody who is interested in creating wealth, I'll be continuing creating wealth, because a lot of you are wealthy people already. But it's a plus, it's not a minus. Like I said, anything that is a plus to me, I'm game for it.
Stop looking at investment from the angle of I can't live there, I cannot live there. No, please. A lot of people mix it up. You do not necessarily have to live in a place for you to invest there. I don't have to live in Dubai, but if I have money, I will invest in Dubai. I don't have to live in US, but by the grace of God, when the time comes, I have the funds, I will invest in US. I will invest in the UK market. I don't necessarily have to live there. If I have a house in UK, a house in US, in Dubai, across continents, people, am I going to live in each of them? Obviously, no. Exactly. So if I have a house in Nigeria, you understand, it's an investment. Don't make it look like because you cannot live in Ibejuleki, you don't see yourself living in Ibejuleki. For that reason, you're not investing in Ibejuleki. I tell you guys that Lagos State government is vested in this location. And when you see the state government, they are the alpha and omega of everything when it comes to real estate. When you see them having vested interest in a location, you as an investor should smartly do what? Carry your cushion share. As a Yoruba woman, you carry your cushion share. You will not carry a stool though, so that you don't feel uncomfortable. You have to carry cushion share, very good leather cushion share. You now sit there like this. and sit like this. Well, that's not how you sit. Wait, wait. You sit and do like this. Eh? You're gonna cross your leg and sit comfortably. Eh? Whilst you're doing what? Putting your money to work for you, and you're patiently watching your money grow for you. What next? When you buy a property, you have talked to a realtor. The realtor has told you all the information on the property, and you have made up your mind to say, okay, I think I have enough information about this property, and I'm just going to go in and invest in it. Now, when you invest, which is your initial deposit on this property, when you pay it, what is the next thing for you to do? What happened next? Is it that from your own part, from the developer's part, and from the realtor's part? What is the next line of action you needed to know? All right, so I'm going to break them down very, very briefly and short, because I don't want the show to be too long. All right, so what next? When you've done your what I've said earlier, you have done the initial deposit. The next line of action lies between your realtor and the real estate developer. So I'll pick it up from the aspect of the realtor, and then I'll pick it aspect of the developer, and then I will come back to you what you have to do at that point. Now, when your realtor gets your evidence of payment, your subscription, the job of your realtor is to go do the proper documentation, meaning that if you buy a property from me, what I do, okay, so now please note, some of these things I'm discoursing is the way I feel is supposed to be professionally done. Now, that does not mean that every realtor does it, okay? So you might have a realtor who do not do these processes. I'm not saying you should go and, start making trouble or issues with them, but I'm just saying professionally, this is the right thing, or what the realtor should do. And like I usually say on the show, you can also add your own or correct me if I'm wrong. I'm ready to always unlearn and learn anytime, any day, any given time that I have the opportunity. So yes, if you give me your subscription form, I will go to the company, document it, ensure that it is properly documented. And this documentation means that they will confirm, it starts with confirming your payment. When they confirm your payment, they will now do what? Check through your subscription form. If the informations are correct, if everything is duly filled, they will now prepare a case file for you. Now, when they prepare a case file for you, that will enable them to generate your documents, which are usually your receipts, your invoice, and of course, your contract of sale. Now, when all of that is prepared, the contract of sale, receipt, and invoice, they will send the e-copy to you. Now, most of the company does that. Some companies don't really do that. But I'm sure that even if you have companies who are not doing that, I think they're catching up now. So they will send those documents to you, e-copy. Now, the reason why they are most of the time sending the e-copy to you, especially most Nigerians that are not in Nigeria, Nigerians in diaspora, is for you to go through those documents. Now, I'm going to stress a bit about this. This contract of sales is meant for you to read. But then when you get your analysis and your facts right, and then you now start putting your money into where you think is the best place or best options for you. Not that you should now whine and say, and at the end of the day, by the time you know what it's you, it is too late. Just like what is happening right now in Nigeria. We were clamoring of people. So many people saw Gombo Road. That is now the hot cake. They saw Gombo Road at 3 million naira barely 10 years ago. What am I even talking about? 8 years ago, 7 years ago. 5 million naira. C of O, very famous C of O. In fact, I remember the orange buy. We sold orange buy from 7 million naira in this same Gombo Road. There is now what? A plot now. An orange buy is around 7. You said 1 to 7 years. Oh, I'm talking about 5 years ago, thereabout. 5-6 years ago. We sold orange buy for 7 million, 7.5. 6 years ago. And now that orange vow, that yes, the estate has been abandoned, but you know that the worth of the property, even though the estate is abandoned, the property is abandoned, the worth of the land is it the same thing. So 6 years down the line, a plot of land that you people bought at 7 million naira 6 years ago is now worth what? 50 million naira, or let's say 40 million naira. Whichever way you look at it, it's still not cheap, right? Exactly. So somebody who lives in UK, US, that bought that land and has even they just kept it there. By the time they wake up and say, oh, come, that's my land, let me come and sell it. Guy, can you guys see it? Oh, sorry if I sounded very ordinary, the word guy. But you guys get what I'm saying. without lifting a finger, that is now 50 million naira. People bought Meridian 2 years ago, 14.5. Now it's 50 million naira. Now you are going to say, I see some people say, is that really worth 50 million naira? I've told you guys before on the show, and I'll say it again. One of the things that drives the price of a property is scarcity. When good lands, genuine lands are beginning to, just like what happened in Ibejuleki, you rarely can see me talk about lands in Ibejuleki like that, because I mean that area, that zone is danger zone. Like danger alert is just screaming everywhere. And for you to really get a very favorable title now in Ibejuleki, there are scars. So when you get the ones that you will get that are genuine, it's expensive. Why? Demand, supply, demand, supply. Demand and supply is beginning to happen to Ekpe now.
I entered into real estate with the comfort, the succumb that comes from, oh, it's more structure. You're dealing with Omonila, you're doing companies, real estate companies. They're a company, there's documentation, there's proper documentation, there's legal processes. All of that kinds of gives you, as an investor, and also you as a realtor, that comfort. And that was why I said, okay, you know what? I think we can do this. And then I became an investor myself, started buying into properties, of course, owned by real estate companies. Now, how has it been so far? There's been so many turbulence. It's been yeah, 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 yeah. Gosh. Okay. So, transiting from buying land from Omonile, I'm sure a lot of you have so many stories, because I mean, I've seen a lot of my clients who tell me horrible stories that they've been through, or their friends of them have been through, or they read online, and these stories are not even a lie. I mean, it's been serious. Even some of these real estate developers, they still go through these Omonile troubles. I hope you guys know. Okay, let me rewind. Did somebody say reverse? Yeah, I'm gonna reverse. I'm gonna rewind, whichever way. Yes, these real estate developers you see that you buy properties from, they still go through Omonile Basco. Do not on any account think that, oh, it's stress free, it's drama free. The drama is still there, there, and there. The only advantage to you as an investor is that they have shouldered all of those drama. They have taken all of those stress on. So you don't get to see the stress one on one. So why we say come buy from a real estate developer and not go do a monile so that you can avoid the drama is because these real estate developers have armor tank, armored shield, AK-47, everything that's going to protect your investment. He doesn't say that they didn't go through or they are not going through the Omonile Buaha. They are also going through the Omonile Buaha. So many of it, some of us get to know, some of you, a lot of you don't get to know. So sometimes when you see some things happening, some delay happening, you'll be wondering, goodness, why is my allocation being delayed? It's the Buaha underground that we don't want to tell you. Most of our projections, some comes out right. Most of the time, it does not come out right. Sometimes, rather, it doesn't come out as we project. But of course, it's still okay to project. Now, we see a lot of projections out there that are also not real. They are not realistic, to be honest. You see some projections, some people will tell you if you put your money in a certain location, you're going to get your ROI will be 200% in 1 year. And to be factual, when I hear stuff like that in such a location, I'm like, no, 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 I don't think that is realistic. Even though some are very, very realistic. So yes, it's not 100% thing that you can be able to say, okay, when people call me and say, goodness, when I put my money in Abijo, tell me how much I intend to get in 3 months, in 1 year. The truth is, in an ideal situation, I should be able to tell you. And there are situations that I will be able to tell you what your ROI will be in 6 months. Now, these are projections, mind you. It doesn't mean that it will be 100% accurate. It can be lesser and it can be above. That is why it is called a projection. Now, but there are some places that I can't really make a projection. And now let's divide this. Now let's break this down into two sections. There are two sections to this thing. Now there are areas where you easily have a particular, a certain projection is based on location. So I'm telling you to invest in, let's use Ekpe for instance now. I'm telling you to invest in Ekpe. Maybe you're buying a land. I'm advising you to buy a certain land in Ekpe, and you want me to tell you what your ROI will be in 1 year, in 6 months. Realistically, I probably won't able to give you an exact figure. Now, I will be able to give you a projection, but the figure now, I won't be able to say 50%. Maybe why I'm saying so is because I'm a very realistic person. Now, but if you want to use general projection, I probably will just tell you within a range. But a lot of the time, when you look at locations like that, why is it difficult for me to give you a certain percentage? When it comes to your ROI is because, and most importantly, in a shorter period of time. Now, in a longer duration, it will be convenient. It will be so easy and realistically for me to tell you, oh, so in 2 years' time, you should be able to get maybe 100%, 50%, as it were. But when you want to invest in a place like Ekpe, and you want your projection to be in 6 months, I think it is not really very realistic, to be honest, in terms of percentage. But this is what is realistic. Please don't get, I don't want you guys to misconstruct or misunderstand this conversation. This is me really, really being a very realistic person. Now, it is me trying to be real. It's me trying to guide your projections and expectation. Now, not just your projection, your expectation. So this is me trying to do like emotional intelligence and trying to manage your emotions and your expectation. Because I've seen cases in this business year in, year out. Some realtors tell investors XYZ, and then lo and behold, the time comes and pass, and then sometimes the property is still at the same value. Oh gosh. And then, he arose this question, people start asking questions and all of that. Now, it's not really the fault of the realtor sometimes. It's because people want to hear, I don't know. Okay, so maybe it's the fault of some of the realtors. So, but this is, I know what I do is what some people don't like. So, yeah, me, I'm just trying to manage your expectations. So, that's the essence of all of this, trying to just make sure that you are investing and also your LD, because there's a time where you would have too much high expectation for your investment, and then you start having health issues. It doesn't make any sense. You should be able to invest and also enjoy a good life. I mean, really, when you get your ROI, you should come and meet you in good health, not that you are hypertensive because you have invested. So this is why I try to manage expectations, but also realistically at the same time, but also tell you what your ROI will be. So in a place like Ekpe, it might be a bit difficult for me to tell you on a shorter, the ROI you're going to get on a shorter term. Now, because that location is actually for a long term. Okay, let me use some land we sold in Ibejuleki 2 years ago. Now they have grown to the actual value. Now, there is actual value, there's manufactured value, right? Now, they have grown in ROI to over 100%. That is in 2 years. Okay, so that is a bit of a long term. So I tell people that when you want to invest in real estate, the truth is real estate investment, for you to truly optimize your ROI, to truly get the benefit of you investing, I don't think is much of a short term. It's more done on a long term. To be honest, all over the world, if you look at it, you see all of these world known billionaires, wealthy people, they've invested over the years. You see them buy a parcel, acres of land, and they come and value the acres of land or the house or the mansion for a certain amount of money. If you look at the duration at which they had bought the property, sometimes it's between 10 to 15 years. Some even is even in 20 years for them to get to that value. So, what I'm also saying to you in essence on this episode is that a lot of the time, to truly get that ROI you want, or that ROI they told you about that we are sold to you, it takes time. Okay, I said it, real estate investment is not for the people that are not patient. If you're not a patient human being, then you will get it wrong when you're investing in real estate. Real estate investment requires patience. It is just the truth, but nothing but the truth. Okay, if you really want to face it, like, let's face it, really realistically, it takes time. I mean, Acquiring a land, even if you want to build your own house, if you acquire the land, pay for the land, get your allocation, and then even if it's instant allocation, even when you're going to build, it's still all within nothing less than 1 year to 2 years if you're not careful, even with your cash. Because there are procedures, right? You have to follow some procedures. You have to even get approval from the government, building approval, da 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 da. So many things are involved. So really, please, if you're watching me and you're this person who thinks, oh, I want to put 10 million in 3 months, I want to get 50 million out. Well, maybe you have to really, really sit down and check out the kind of real estate investment you will do. But if it's this regular land buying a land and then getting return on your investment on a land, to be honest, it requires more time. Sometimes when I see a company introduce a property into the market, realistically, I ask myself this question: this price they call this house or the land, is it actually realistic? By the time I do my evaluation, and I cannot, in my gut feelings, I cannot find justification to why they will sell XYZ property for that amount, I will never touch it. And I will never ask my clients to go invest in such property. Trust me, there are so many properties that are in fantastic location, but when it comes to realistically the price, they are not realistic. Because I mean, a lot of the time, what happened with some of these developers is that you, the investor buying into that property, they have sold the future of the property to you. Yeah. Just imagine 5 years ago, you bought a plot of land in Aja for 30 million naira. How much is it selling now? It's still 30 million naira. So you bought it then at the future of it. So it means that in the last 5 years, you have not made any ROI. Oh, Aloju can be Omi Adagun. Sorry. If you don't understand Yoruba, ask your friend next to you. So that's what I mean. I mean, I've seen those. I try to be as realistic as possible, do my own research in certain areas. Is it realistic? Just like now in Ekpe, some people want to sell some untitled land at a certain amount. And I'm like, why would you sell Ekpe at that kind of amount, a untitled land? I mean, really, realistically, it doesn't make sense. So I wouldn't even go there. So because my job is not just, coming to sell the property to you, I try to consult with you guys. And that's why when I talk to some people, ask them what their budget is for a certain area, and I'll just tell you you cannot get in that area for that amount because that is not obtainable. And if you want me to lie to you, then you have to go meet the person that will lie to you because I will not lie to you. If you look at the apartment, it's not even everyone. One bedroom apartment and two bedroom apartment seems to be more higher in demand than 3 bedroom apartments. Because I mean, if you look at it, everybody is trying to downsize. They're trying to, stay in this very small, cozy place. They want to. So you see that over and over years long, 1 bedroom apartment and 2 bedroom apartment is highly in demand than a 3 bedroom apartment. And guess the funny thing, the amount you will rent the 2 bedroom apartment is about the same thing for a 3 bedroom apartment. A lot of the times the difference might be maybe 100,000. It's always very funny. I mean, it's crazy. I've been researching this thing for like 4 years now. Not, I mean, all my life in real estate, and it's always very funny to me when you see a 3 bedroom apartment in a particular location with a 2 bedroom apartment, and you see the tiny difference, and you wonder why though. Okay, so I'd rather take a 3 bedroom. For me personally, I'd rather take a 3 bedroom apartment to have more space than to pay, I mean, lesser to get a lesser space. But guess what? When you have one empty room in your house, it gives room for family and friends, members to come and choke the life out of you, come and take your peace away from you. So people are getting more smarter. If I stay in a very small space, if you come and say, "Oh, please, I need a space to put up for a while," you're just gonna say no because the truth is, even already the space is choked. So I mean, I think that's another strategy people use to just stay in a 2 bedroom apartment. I mean, this okay, maybe not so much, but I think that's one of the reasons. So for so many other reasons we probably don't know, there is a higher demand in 1 bedroom apartment and 2 bedroom apartment over 3 bedroom apartment. I don't understand it, but it's what it is. I mean, if you have, I see people who build block of one bedroom apartment, 20 units, and then you see that when before they are done with construction in Yaba, on the island, in Ikeja, these units are rented out even before the construction is completed. Is always the case. It's the same thing with two bedroom. It is always in fact, let's even leave Lagos. Let's take this conversation to somewhere in Abeokuta. Let's take this conversation somewhere in Lokoja in Kogi State, somewhere in the east. Is always maybe not the east, I'm not sure of the east, but these places I mentioned in Ibadan is always the case. And that's why you see that places, even some places in Ibadan, you see all these duplexes are more way crazier, cheaper, and the flats are expensive. You keep asking why? Because again, not everybody wants to stay in a big house. People don't really want to. Gone are the days when people want to live in big houses. You stay in a very, you know how those days our parents will build big bungalow, 7 bedroom bungalow, 7 bedroom mansion, 12 bedroom mansion, all those kind of things. I think it's this still majorly, primarily, frequently common right now. Common in maybe in the east, you still see them build those big because maybe because they are large families. But I mean, a lot of people are now downsizing. Nobody builds more than 4 bedroom duplex these days. 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom is just okay. It's cozy enough. I mean, it's just okay. I mean, people are reducing those sizes, and coupled with the fact that in Lagos, lands are becoming more expensive. So you find out that people build gradually, relatively 3 bedroom with a big queue, 3 bedroom with a big queue. You see 2 bedroom with a big. In fact, for those who are even buying duplexes, who are buying duplexes, you see people who are renting duplexes rather, that the 2 bedroom duplexes and with a big queue and 3 bedroom, they go faster than the 4 bedrooms. So you find out that people who stay in 4 bedrooms are the large family people, or maybe they are the landlord, they live in that house. But people who rent 4 bedroom duplexes are not so common. And that's why you see that those old duplexes in places like VGC, Megamon, they're beginning to look for how to convert those big houses into something smaller. So they were breaking it into 2 units so that they can just have a 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, and 2 bedroom. I mean, relatively, an average family right now in Lagos needs 2 bedroom with a BQ. So you will see that whether it is an apartment or a duplex, the 2 bedroom thing seems to be more of in demand than its supply. Some people grew up in certain locations and they would love to own a property in that location, no matter what you say about the ROI. So in that instance, what is important is owning a property in the environment that I grew up. So just imagine I grew up in Zaria, right? If I have the opportunity I grew up in Zaria, precisely in Old Hospital Road is where I grew up in Zaria, in Sabongeri, in Zaria. And just imagine I have the offer right now to buy a house. Maybe my house then used to be beside Maraban Rest, and you just give me the opportunity to buy a house just beside the Maraban Rest. I mean, for both memory's sake, I don't know the box I'll put it, but for that emotional reason, I will buy it. I mean, really, oh, geez, this is exciting. Yes, so I just let's give you guys an example. So some people grew up in a certain area and they want to own a property. So if you fall into that category and the reason why you're buying it is for that reason, that's an emotional reason. Emotional reason falls under emotional reasons. Now, it's okay if you're buying for that. I mean, there's no amount of ROI I'm going to talk to you about. There's no amount of things I will say to you or anybody say to you about the location that will kind of sell to you. You won't get it. You won't understand it because the person is also not getting it and not understanding it. So ROI does not matter in that instance. You will just buy that property there. All right. So I hope you guys understand that. So, but if you're not buying for those reasons, you're buying really for investment, like I said earlier, ROI is very key to you. So now let's discuss that. On the island, because of the growth rate, because of the rate of migration into this part of Lagos, because of the infrastructures, development going on, things that are happening on the island in Lagos. An island starts from Lagos Island all the way down to Ekpe, Ibejuleke, and all of that. Because of what is happening there, it seems to have more ROI in a shorter period of time compared to when you're investing on the mainland. But please, there are key places on the mainland too that things are happening there that you won't quantify it though. But trust me, I believe in people spreading their investments. I mean, spread your investments, spread your risks. You do island, you do mainland. So now, for that reason, I would advise that you invest more on the island because I mean, when it comes to ROI, it just gives you more return on your investment. Now, let's talk about rental income. Now, you buy a house and you're putting it on rental income. When it comes to the kind of caliber of people, maybe you're looking for some set of people that are highly professional, people that are working in certain parastatal. When you have classification, you will only find those class of people majorly on the mainland, on the island. You will find a certain class of people also on the mainland. So if your class of people that you want to add to rent your apartment, or you want to sublet your property to, on the island, it means that you will buy your property on the island. But if those class of people falls on the mainland, then it means your property will be on the mainland. So it depends on what you're looking for as an investor. It depends on what you're looking for at the time. If your reason for buying is for emotion, if your reason for buying is for ROI, if you have a class of people, you have a particular projection of what you want to achieve with your investment or the kind of house you're buying, those are specific reasons why you would that will help you decide on the location you're buying. Now let's talk about a sharing house, for instance. There are people who buy into a sharing house. There are people that love mainland investment, and some other version of people, investors who like to spread their risk. They have a lot of properties on the island already. They don't have anything on the mainland, and they want to buy on the mainland. Look at the Bejuleki. Some people don't have property on the Bejuleki. When they are buying because they don't have any property in the Bejuleki.